So some of you might have seen that I shared on YouTube through posts that one of the things I shared was this, oh my gosh, Sam, God, his last name, no, Dan, and his last name is it just blows my mind how really weird it is. I think it's actually like one of those Austro-Hungarian names. Oh, I thought he was turning. Oh, okay. I thought it sounded like it was one of those Austro-Hungarian kind of German names that, like, Schäufter, and that you're like, what? like, and that if you were to, that you could keep saying it over and over again, and the person would say it back to you, and you'd think that you're saying the same thing, you know, Schäufter, 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 you know. No, not quite Schäufter, more like Schäufter, you know. But so his video, he has more of them. There's more interviews with him because apparently he is a really big deal in Israeli defense thinking and stuff. But something I wanted to make sure that I posted that video, but I want to make sure to put out there. The reason we're dealing with any of this stuff having to do, the silence of the Ummah that I brought up. Why is the Ummah totally silent on Gaza? Like, they're making speeches, you'll have some leader say this or that, but really, why are there no Muslims anywhere saying shit about Gaza, really? It is because of the Salafiyas. So, the Gazan Palestinian Muslim type world was heavily poisoned by this guy Jamal ad-Din Afghani. He is the quintessential anti-colonial hero of all leftist pro-Muslim freak jobs. This guy basically turned Islam back into Mohammed time. That's what he fundamentally was, his argument comes down to. If we just act like crazed, maniacal barbarians that'll do anything, and then we take on the craziest hadiths and the craziest interpretations, and we horrify the West, we do everything they wouldn't do, then we win. Now, you see, a lot of people, the counter argument will be like, you see, the Islamic world was like giving into Western norms, was starting to become more Western, things like that. Or you see, somebody could easily, like I was thinking, what would Dan say? Oh, I'm sorry. No. The Islamic world could not Islamize all of the parts of the world they conquered and colonialized. And then they made the error of leaving somebody alive at some point who didn't convert. So at some point, in having like a slave class of workers, of Christians or Jews or pagans of some sort, the Islamic world has this problem of every once in a while somebody being like, I don't really like this religion much. We should just stop doing this. And that if Muslims can't stop that from happening, if that incrementally starts to break down in some way, if the local people start to develop, say, like various Sufi groups, they start to actually do things that are kind of loosely outside of the religion. What you end up having is sort of these secret societies that develop that really also represent one of the other issues about Islam, is that it is because they recognize worldly power in terms of theology. You end up having this issue constantly of them always fighting each other. And fighting it to the point that it's just crazy. It's fucking nuts, dude. When you really look into how, like, the deaths in the Islamic world, it's all Muslims. There's just Muslims doing it to each other, blowing each other to fucking smithereens all the time. And so they don't even need people from outside of the Ummah to cause them problems. For real deal Holyfield, like they don't need like anybody to like weaken them. And so that was one of the problems that somebody like Jamal ad-Din Afghani had. He really wanted Islam to have truly a supernatural uniting power, but it doesn't. It doesn't have that. It can't do that. It can't do the impossible. And so but that's so he got basically a lot of the Islamic world to supposedly oppose colonialism. The thing is, though, it didn't really help them. In the long run, we look at a lot of countries and we see it didn't help them. And then on top of it, it is so outrageous in its kind of theological approach that you end up with like drugged up wackos, in the middle of Syria, raping everything that they see, if not torturing it. And drugged up because you can't do that unless you're on serious combat drugs for that amount of time. That's what you were seeing in Syria. All right, talk to you in a minute.